Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's January 19th, 2023. Representing District 2 and 3 is Commissioner Aaron Mays and Commissioner Kevin Cook. I'm Bill Rippon. I represent District 1. What's first?
First is item 3, consent agenda.
All right. I would, if there's no questions or comments, I would move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, we have vouchers this morning that total $1,812,688.16. The highlights out of the voucher report, we have allocations, $585,141.44. Those are to charitable institutes that we have appropriated through budget process. Health insurance, $235,096.03 for our employees. Workers' compensation premium of $52,220.14. Other highlights is under District Attorney and Equipment Fund, Journal Technologies Incorporated, totaling $260,920.63, is for case management software and Justware maintenance in the District Attorney's Office. Under the detention facility, Border States Industries Incorporated, $12,452 is for LED flat panel lights. Under the Equipment Fund, Sound Products of $34,650 is for additional security systems, equipment at the Department of Correction Annex. And then finally, under the Sheriff, Burla Corporation, totaling $19,550 is for vehicle information software. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I would move for approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays, Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Parks and Recreation number 1, approval and execution is requested by Parks and Recreation on the Larson and Associates, Inc. agreement, Shawnee County Contract C-20-2023, in order to proceed with the State of Kansas Department of Health and Environment directing investigation, testing, remediation, and/or monitoring at the Gage Park Maintenance Compound. Funding of $12,986.50 is being provided by KDHE.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. So this action, this is actually was bid and let by KDHE, and this process started actually before the merger. So this is, they're essentially going to do borings and testing on the Gage Park compound where there were some petroleum tanks that used to be stored there. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I will tell you that we're being told by KDHE that their hope is that this may be the final action, that they may be able to essentially, I don't know the correct terminology, but release this at that point and just, and we would require no further testing or monitoring if everything goes well. So
This happened a number of years ago when they removed the underground fuel tanks.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they had any really bad reports from the early borings, so.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well, that this has been, through this entire process, they haven't found a lot, but there was some contamination, so that's why it was started.
Glad it's coming to an end, possibly.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, KDHE has been working on this for 12 years.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
Because you essentially just have to, I'm no expert, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but you essentially have to let this just dissipate over time, and so they're monitoring it and testing it to make sure that it's safe to, be there, I guess, or if we wanted, let's say, for instance, as we work through a Gage Park master plan, if we decided we wanted to vacate that area and return it to parkland, this would allow us to do that now that it's been cleared by KDHE.
I think there was some soil that was just immediately adjacent to the tanks. They pulled out, they put it out onto drying fields or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But nothing major, so, well, I'm glad it's about to come to an end.
Well, it seems expensive.
Well, we're not paying for it. So
Still seems expensive.
that
It is.
that is also.
Oh, yes, we are paying for it.
That is also.
We all pay for it.
That they get, the Larson and Associates is actually paid by KDHE, so.
All right. Well, I will move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
B2, consider approval of request to award bid to Crawford Siding and Gutter LLC for siding and window replacement at Lake Shawnee Shelter Number 6 at a cost of $28,344 with funding available from Building Maintenance 3R and authorization and execution of contract C 22-2023 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jess Rakestraw, Parks and Rec. We recently went out to bid for the replacement of siding and windows at Shelter 6 at Lake Shawnee. We received 5 bids. The lowest bidder was Crawford Siding, so we would like your approval to award them the bid and execute the contract.
Can you tell me what kind of siding we're putting on there?
I believe it is crane board that we are using.
Crane
So,
board.
that was at the recommendation of them. I have personally driven around and looking at them throughout town just to make sure, but that was what they're, as far as low maintenance, and
Okay.
I think that was their primary response, was I wanted something that was low maintenance, and that was, they said, would hold up the longest for us, so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Just to follow up on that one, is that what we had all of the different vendors quote
It
us
is
with?
not. So we originally went with James Hardy Board, which was recommended. I worked with a different firm here in town to try and figure out what the best avenue was. After speaking with Crawford, I went and looked some examples of that as well. I mean, I had seen examples. I hadn't seen them on homes or buildings. So I drove around and looked at those, and they gave me several examples of that had shrunk, and it just didn't look proper after they'd been installed for several years. So they showed me crane board on examples that had been around for a while, and they held up much better.
So are we, with these 5 bids that we received, I mean, there's a pretty big discrepancy.
There is. And Crawford said they would do the exact same pricing. So the pricing isn't changing. Nothing is changing in that regard. It is just a different product than we intentionally went out for.
Oh, so their bid of the 28,344, that's based on Hardy Board?
No, this is updated. This contract is updated to reflect crane board.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is, did we give the other companies an opportunity to bid it with that product?
We did not, because this was still the low bid by, I think, $6,000 across the board, so. And I did talk with, I think, Berzon about it, just to make sure we weren't doing anything improper, and he said that was okay, so.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C, Planning Department, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2023-4, authorizing the renaming of Carver Road to Greening Street in Soldier Township.
Morning, Commissioners. Joni Thadani, Director of the Planning Department. As is mentioned, in front of you today is a resolution which would authorize the renaming of Carver Road to Greening Street. And a little bit of background here. Carver Road was originally designated as a road back in 1964 as a part of Leonard Subdivision Number 2. It is located up in the northwest area. The road itself only measures a little over 300 feet. It's maintained by Soldier Township. There's only one home actually located on Carver Road, and that's owned by Jack and Betty Greening. They've lived in that home since the late 60s. There are two other homes that flank either side of Carver Road, but both of those are actually addressed as Brickyard. I did send notice of this resolution to those other two homeowners just to make sure that they didn't have any objection, and invited them to attend today or to contact me if they had any questions about it. So the request is being made by the family of the Greenings, who, have, like I mentioned, have lived there for a long time. They would like to see this road be changed to the name of Greening Street. I have no issues, and because there are no other homes or neighbors that really have any input onto this, I don't think that it would be objectionable to go ahead and make that change.
Questions? All right.
I would move for approval, and I understand that Jack and Betty were not able to attend today due to the weather, but they are watching, and so just wanted to say hello to them, and I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Joni.
Thank you,
Next item.
Commissioners.
Item D, Health Department, number 1, approval to offer a candidate the position of Health Services Team Leader, MCH Outreach in the Health Department at a range 17, Step 10. The annual salary and benefits will be $80,510 and will be paid of the 2023 grant funds and tax allocation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. The request is to fill a vacant position at a higher step than what we normally would. I'd like to give just a little background on this. This particular position is a supervisor position that has been vacant now for over 7 months in our Health Department. The work obviously has not stopped, but another supervisor has had to take that workload on to make sure that the work could move forward. This is an integral position. This oversees multiple staff members, multiple programs, and important work in that maternal child health area. The candidate of choice has a couple of attributes that really stood out to us. One is this particular applicant has past supervisor experience, and so to bring somebody in that has managed multiple staff members and multiple programs is important to us. Somebody that has some foundational information and knowledge about supervisor skills so that they are ready to take on staff and programs. The other attribute that they have is that they have worked with our target population. So they have worked with pregnant women, they've worked with families with young children in the home. And so those two attributes combined really just make this candidate a standout choice for us. We have reviewed our budget. We do have money in our budget this year. It is primarily paid out of the maternal child health block grant, but we do have to have a match, and that is the tax dollars that match that grant. So I do have Missy Mendorf, the division manager, here today if you've got specific questions about the position or candidate.
Questions?
No. I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Teresa. Next item.
Item 5, public comment.
I don't have anyone signed up. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak? Seeing none. Next item.
Item 6, administrative communication.
All right.
Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. So I want to introduce not a new staff member. I think that you guys may have seen this gentleman a time or two previously, but I'm happy to announce that we have hired John Bell as our parks superintendent. So John will be replacing John Boyd, who retired recently. For those of you that don't know, John he started with the city of Topeka Parks and Recreation in 2004. He's had over 25 years of experience in the field, all of that, most of that with us. I think he's going to make a great addition. We're excited. He started Monday, and he's, I think, already maybe regretting it. I don't know. We've had a really busy week. So anyway, John Bell.
Well, thank you, Tim. I just want to say thank you for the three of you for supporting me throughout my career. I'd like to thank Tim and Jess for giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to serving our community in my new role. So, thank you.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? Commissioner Mays.
Not much from me. Go Chiefs, though.
All right. Commissioner Cook.
Commissioner Rippon, do you want to talk a little bit about Monday and our work session, since this is a pretty big change for us, to not have a meeting on a Monday, but to have a work session, and kind of what you're anticipating and how you anticipate it might go?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. As you all probably know by now, we're going to be doing work sessions on Monday. I already have someone lined up for our first Monday meeting. Bill Sutton is going to be, he's shaking his head. He's going to be talking about our opt-in, opt-out, and other issues that we've had with all the recycling. So I think that'll be a good work session to begin with. Also, on that first session, I'd like to kind of set the ground rules. Are we going to stream it? Are we not? Are we going to allow public speaking? If so, how long? Just to set some rules, and I think we need to do that in our first meeting. I think that'll be constructive. But I think it'll give us an opportunity to have a better understanding for a lot of the projects and items that you bring before us that we vote on Thursdays. And I just think we'll have a better product in the end. We'll be able to sit down and talk. As you know, we can't. The three of us can't go into a room and talk about things. There's a few things we can talk about in executive sessions, but for the most part, day in, day out business, we can't talk to each other. So it'll be good to sit down in a work session and be able to discuss it more freely and less formally. So.
And it's just, Jim, as our county counselor, are we able to, during a work session, set the ground rules and operational procedure, since we aren't taking official action in a work session?
This is Jim Kraus, Shawnee County Counselor. It's a good point. I think, though, the main point under the question is, can we or can't we? Under COMA, you can. There are very limited rules under COMA, and we currently exceed COMA and the requirements of COMA in most things that we do. We need to give notice of the meeting. We need to have a meeting. We're not required to have an agenda for an official meeting. So we can do all of that. You can discuss the work rules that you want to have for the work session. You can modify the organizational meeting resolution if you think you need to further define that, and we can put that on a Thursday agenda for action. So I think the real question is, are we going to stream it or not? Because I think staff need to know that on Monday, and they need to know ahead of time. That's the decision you probably want to make today, to make it clear whether we're doing that or not.
As I know that we want to start off on the right foot and make sure that we're all doing the right thing, and I could see Miss Beck down at the end as our recorder of all things that we do officially.
And she's going, one less meeting every week. No,
Well,
I
Miss
really-
Beck, you're always welcome to attend.
I know, and I will. In my heart, I'll be here.
And bring cookies. And bring cookies.
I will. I can bring cookies. I do want to, if I could, I did had a clerk, the clerk from Franklin County, actually. I spoke to her yesterday, and just this topic came up. And she said they do, their commissioners, they have, I think she said they have one meeting a week, but once or twice a month, they have a work session. And I asked her how they, how do they handle it? And she said they put it out for the live stream or however they do it, but she said they don't archive that with like we would have our regular meetings. She said they don't archive it. It's out there for people who can't come to the meeting because they have that availability for the public, but she said they don't keep the records. I don't think there was, like Jim said, he said there's no rules on that, but it's just, that's what they do, and it just so happened, I wasn't checking, and it was in our passing conversation, so.
I might think about it as the same way as like a budget hearing. A budget hearing is not an official county commission meeting, but we do live stream those, and if people are not able to attend, that way they would be able to see what's being discussed by a department on a certain matter. And then Commissioner Rippon, if people want to bring an item to you for a work session, should they just contact you directly, or should they be contacting Susie Oliva as our administrative assistant?
I think they could do either one, but I think just as a point person, maybe go to Susie and talk to her, and we can decide if we want to put that on the agenda or what date. I think the important thing is for people to know that this is a public meeting. They can attend press can be here, and, but as far as streaming, I don't know, I'm not opposed to it.
But no action would be taken. It's an
No.
official meeting, but no action is
No
being
action
taken.
being taken, that's correct.
And of course, there's the question of you, I think I'd seen something in, that you talked about possibly going to other locations. And that would be, I'm sure, IT would probably want to have a conversation about that, whether or not they can do that off-site too. So, that, you know, I guess it's fluid.
We could stream things, but
Yeah.
not beyond reason if we're gonna go.
Yeah, like you're gonna come to my house and have a meeting at my house, you won't be able to do it there, you know, I guarantee you. But my neighbors would love it. If you want to sometime, they really would like it.
But if we want to go see a project, say out at the lake or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
something, we could have our meeting out there, just announce that that's where we're gonna have the meeting. And
Well, and if I may.
Yes.
I do think that, you know, occasional field trips, if you will, are probably a good idea for us, especially with as many construction projects as we're gonna have going on. I think it's a good idea for the three of us to, you know, head across the street to the courthouse to see how the construction progress is going. Obviously, it's not gonna be feasible for us to stream that, but I think when we're in these chambers, it's probably a good idea for us to live stream.
it'd be easy to do from here, since we're doing it already, so. All right. Did you have anything else?
No. I just thought, you know, this is a big change for us.
It
and
is.
so-
It is a change. Commissioner Mays, do you have anything?
This is Jim Crow, Shawnee County Counselor. For the benefit of staff, then, we're going to plan on streaming Monday morning.
Okay,
Okay?
Yes.
that'd be fine.
And I think that it might be good if we're not going to live stream because we're heading out to, in the field, we'd just say that in advance.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
Otherwise, we have to snap a GoPro to Commissioner Rippon's head so they can see what's going on.
I'm not opposed to that. I think it might.
I am opposed to that.
We could get the little shoulder things at the, you know,
Off
each
X
of
on
you could have one of those.
Body
on there.
cams, like
Body
Body
cams.
cams.
Sheriff could have some extras.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Contact Sheriff Hill about that. Let's see, yesterday we were invited by District Court to observe some hearings, and they had senators and representatives from the Topeka area. And it was an interesting afternoon watching some of those proceedings, and I was amazed at the volume of people that they had coming into their courtroom, that they had hearings for, and I was impressed with their staff, and the way they did court reporting is totally different than I remember. But it was an interesting afternoon. I enjoyed it. So, and I think it's important to do things like that occasionally, so we can make sure that the courts or whatever department we go to has the resources to do their job. So that's all I have. What's next?
Item 7, executive session.
We have no need for executive session, so we are adjourned. Thank you.